Okay, so these ones, they will need to be started, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we are about to go.
A very good afternoon to our viewers and welcome to the 1873 TV, Your Vision, Your Power. My name is Tinashe Mpasiri. This afternoon on the 1873 TV, we bring you the show The Africa I Want, Part 10, with Mutuma Mawere as well as Oscar. Good afternoon, Mr. Mawere.
Good afternoon, Tinashe.
Good afternoon, Oscar.
Good afternoon, Tinashe.
Mr. Mawere, we continue looking at citizenship, a very fundamental aspect in the sense that many a times as individuals we complain about things that go wrong because of the individuals whom we have elected to be public office bearers, and yet many a times we find ourselves wanting in the sense that we don't actually take action or participate in ensuring that if it's policies that are implemented, they are meant for us, the individuals who elect these public officers into office. And yet we expect them to actually do it on our behalf. And most of the time, what actually happens is that the so-called leaders or public office bearers, they actually put their interests first before those of the individuals that elect them. Why is it important for us to actually have literacy, especially when it comes to the aspect of citizenship?
I think when you properly understand and construe the purpose of life and the design of it, you discover that it's very difficult to trust anyone with power. So our understanding of power is not complete, is not shared, and if we investigate further, we find that most of the people, including me, we don't understand what citizenship is. And we all talk about it. We all want to own countries and say, this is my country, and confusing birthplace and ownership. That I become protective of the country, protective of minerals, protective of land, the flora and fauna. And yet, when we look at it correctly, you find that everything that we claim credit for, we actually have no relevance to its creation. The things that we should gain credit for, the things we have done ourselves, we have often found wanting. So it is always easy to then default to the creation and say, this is mine because I exist and I was born in this place, therefore it's mine. So citizenship is not understood generally. So that's why we have to go deeper to see in the history of human civilization which country was created out of ideas, where nobody can say heredity is what connects me. It takes us to countries like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, United States. So if we zero in on the United States as an independent construction, it was a rejection of the monarchy. So as a rejection of the monarchy, they were compelled to think of something different. And that something different had to be another creation of man. So people had to think. You know, sometimes when you gain independence, you actually walk into an office that was already in place. You walk into a bedroom that somebody was sleeping before. But imagine we have to start from zero to build a new country with our own ideas, our own actions. Where would we start? Would we start with the government that we see today? Or would we think deeper to say, what is the purpose and design of life? If we were people like Jefferson, who was assigned with his team of 5, to think about this idea of declaring independence. If we go to the Virginia Declaration of Rights,
Yes.
then it will give us some indication, some pointers as to what was meant when in Article 1 it was and remains stated that all men by nature are equally free and independent.
Yes.
So if we are independent, it means we have sovereignty, we have the power to cause and the power to be the actors in that cause. So if I want to kill somebody, I have to present myself as a medicine. And I have to carry out the act. So it's not just the thought or the intent. It is also the act itself.
Yes.
So this is what we learn about this idea called citizenship. Once we are citizens, what is our duty? Is it just to vote and sleep? Or to vote and be vigilant?
Yeah.
Actually, you pose a very important question, Mr. Mawere, especially what is our duty as citizens once we voted? Do we just go to sleep and forget about everything else? And that is a fundamental question I need to ask myself as an individual on a daily basis. What is it that I'm doing in order to be the change that I want to see in the community or the society that I happen to be in? And we've been... okay, so...
Well, the most important thing about what you're highlighting right now, many of our viewers might not be really aware of what Jefferson stood for in 1776, of which all the great men that we talk of, from Jefferson even to say Mandela, these guys, they had one thing in common that they were addressing, which is equality. So where there's no freedom, one person is not able to fully express themselves. So what am I saying? Even God himself, he has given us the freedom of free will to decide good over bad. You know, he doesn't say, you know what, because I'm God, I've created you, so you should love me.
Yeah.
So the same system that is used by God, who is the Almighty, the all-knowing, the Creator, who has given us this free will as well from creation, should also apply to us as citizens, to say, whichever authority that is on top of us, now for it to be there, you were given a privilege to choose them.
That's right.
To be there. You were given a privilege to have a voice that speaks towards what you want.
Yeah.
So from what you're saying, I'm also having an insight
Yeah.
and an understanding of what my role and duty as a citizen is, and which is to be the change, like what my brother here is saying.
Yeah.
The change that I want to see, I don't just speak from behind to say, we don't want this to happen, we don't want this to happen, and then I don't take action to what I need to change. Just like what you said, that where there's a medicine, you have to be there for it to be a medicine.
Yeah.
You don't murder someone and then you're not there.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it becomes all clear to say that everything that we want to see, everything, the change that we want to see, it has to be a step forward that has to be taken by you, Tinashe, as an individual, to say this is what I want. So, yeah, it's really making a lot of sense. And
so that's, but most of the time you find that as human beings, we always expect a better angel in others. That next person is the person who has to do the things that ought to be done. So when you say whose government is it, it is always easy to say it's not my government. It's always easy to say I'm a spectator. It's always easy to say I would rather be silent than speak my mind. It's always easy to say, I actually don't know. And even if I did know, I don't care. Because I'm just carrying on with my business. I'm just pushing on with my life. So it's not so easy for human beings to be able to see beyond the confines of their disability or their ability. You look at what we're talking about and say, why would a country of 320 million people be number one in the world? And how do we investigate this issue? Some people say this is because of imperialism. Some people say it's because of these devices where other countries' resources are being shipped out at below what they are worth. And those resources are the ones that power the engine of these great economies. Some will also say that slaves, although it was abolished a long time ago in 1801, they will still claim that were it not for slavery, that country would not be where it is. So it's not easy to explain, it's not easy to understand, because all the things that we look at are not constant. So I can't say because of this, this happened. So there's a lot of explanations. Some people say we are poor because others are rich. So when we look at all these issues of citizenship, and the obligation that is implied in it, what is it when we vote? What are we voting for?
You know, on that question of what are we voting for, I would safely say that this free will, this free will that we have been given, I think it's actually even more dangerous to say, you know what, the person who's more dangerous, Tinashe, is the person who doesn't tell you what they think about you. This is the most dangerous person. What am I saying? I'm bringing the issue closer to what you're saying about the people who decide to say, you know what, me, I'm not going to vote. Me, I'm not going to do this. I prefer to be behind and just be quiet. But if you don't make a step towards that which you want, then who's going to do it for you? Nobody.
Yeah. But they say, once I vote, I've discharged my duty.
No.
There are people even who celebrate and say, I've created a leader.
No, you can't.
And he must run the country.
No.
And they trust. No, it's very easy.
A leader is a human being just like me.
No, but some human beings, they say, are more equal than others. Look at it, we're coming from feudalism.
Let me just share with you some piece so that you understand what's going on in other individuals' minds, especially when it comes to this aspect of leadership.
Yes.
So this is A.C. Lumumba. He states that today's game changer, Professor A. Jim Tambara, at 42 he became the Deputy Prime Minister of Zimbabwe. Got to work for and with him during this time, and I cannot name many people who have half the work ethic and excellence this man displayed. He's one of the most relevant minds on the continent today, with a global achievement record and one of the most impressive CVs. I always thought he was the most underrated senior politician in the country, and time would vindicate him. Professor Arthur has just published his first of 3-volume books on thought leadership. I finished reading it yesterday, and it's the best Zimbabwe bioliterature I have read to date. He was asked in his interview if he would join the presidential race. When you listen to his response, you can judge for yourself. I am proud we have Zimbabweans like this, a born leader who has excelled at the highest educational and professional standards. As Africans, we don't read enough, but West, we don't write enough, so we leave others to tell our story. Thank you for telling our story, and all the best wishes. Then he goes on to state, if I had to call it myself, I fully endorse this piece of excellence. I look forward to his return to mainstream politics.
Yeah. So you see, there's now a connection between excellence in academia with statecraft. But understanding what statecraft is and ought to be, what the role of government ought to be and should be, understanding that when we say all power is vested in the people, what we mean when George Mason penned in Article 2 of the Declaration of Rights, what did he mean that all power is vested in the people? Not in the educated people, not in the dumb people, that everything that is done in the name of the government is done for and on behalf of the people who are governed. If we then insert education excellence in it, would we still need elections?
Absolutely not, because the process of election itself does not require a degree or a certificate. You just need to put the next one, the individual that you want to elect.
So if it is that is the case, that we need qualified franchise, this is what whites were saying in Africa, that blacks have not matured enough to enjoy civic rights. So they are not part of this civilization. And therefore, for you to be eligible to vote, you must qualify. Either you have property, or you must, because to get property is not automatic. You can't say that hill has got gold, therefore I must vote because I have a claim on that hill.
Okay. You know, on that, I think the issue of I would come from the musical side.
Yeah.
As a musician.
Yeah.
I'd come from the musical side and say, it's like people are in their own small worlds.
Yeah.
And with their own understanding. Just like I'll just divert just a little bit. We think sometimes we know certain things when we don't understand them. Until you are given an option of something, then you realize that what you thought you had known about this particular thing that you're doing, you're mistaken. What am I saying? What I'm saying is, coming to the issue also of voting, and then I'll go back to what I'm talking about. Most people, me included, I'm actually getting an insight also now.
Yeah.
That if you talk about voting,
Yeah.
Is there a criteria, one, to say, okay, now, or requirements to say, okay, what we are voting for, what we are looking for specifically is this, we are looking for someone like this, and this, and this, and this. This is what people don't understand, Fraser.
Yeah.
So if I'm to say I'm going to vote, if I'm to say I'm voting for Tinashe to be president, what is going to make me vote for Tinashe? Is it about the academic qualification? That's where we are.
That's where
going with this.
Lumumba
That's
is
where
saying
we're
that
coming with this.
thought leadership itself.
Yes. So what I also need to understand also here as a musician from this where this conversation is going is the choice of voting for someone is in me. Right?
That's right.
It's despite
And you don't
what
even have
is
to, it's
being,
like falling in love.
yeah,
You
it's
can't ask for somebody
to buy
to qualify
To
to
qualify,
be your girlfriend.
yeah.
It's
So,
have you ever heard that?
no. So in some sense we're saying being a leader is a privilege that is given despite
Outside your own thinking,
okay.
I can't take my ego and
Alright.
impose it on people
All right.
and call it that's what you need. This is otherwise we'll be writing exams. Because what is the role of government when you say literacy about power, literacy about statecraft? Do you think, as Lumumba understands, his understanding of government is the government that he says he worked for? But working for a government does not arm you with the understanding and clarity of what it is that this creature that you then say must be associated with thought leaders
Yes.
should be. For you to associate a government of the people, by the people, and of those people, then it means you are saying something about the people. That you must be superior to them, which is the word that he's using. The moment I invoke thought into leadership, then I'm also saying that those people who don't think cannot be leaders, are not eligible. Yet the people, for me to vote, all I need is to identify myself and to prove that I'm a resident someplace. And then I vote. In that whole process, there's no intellectualism required. So why is it that armed with the same information, I would then be educated but illiterate about the basic framework of how a government is established and how it is to function and what the actors who then act in the name of this creature should say or not say. So if I'm elected to administer the affairs of the people who own the government, because it is them in whose name a government is established. It is not in the name of the leaders. Otherwise, people will not want to leave power. And people who are educated, they think they deserve it. They are entitled to this position of power. That I will go into politics to prove what? To lecture people? Imagine somebody lectures you when you are hungry. Or prays for you. So that you convert hunger into something else.
So what you're saying is there are no qualifications for being a leader, no requirements.
Humanity doesn't require qualification. I don't have to enter the human society. Then you exclude me because I'm not qualified, because I don't look like you, because I'm tall or I'm short, and you want a country of tall people. Or I can't see and you see. That simply the dark days that we came from. And someone says, let's create a new society where thinkers belong to another class, non-thinkers belong to a class, and then we, the thinkers, become qualified by virtue of thinking. And that is the society we want. Then I go to the constitution of all these countries to find this thinking person. And I find nothing except in someone's mind. They have imported this idea that they are exceptional. They are gifted. And therefore, because of that gift, they must collect your money and then use it in your interest. Would you need a smart person to do the things that you can do for yourself?
You know, from what you're saying also, it's not only about having a leader, but you're also equipping us also as individuals to say that we mustn't be, okay, let's say we have voted.
Yeah.
We have voted Tinashe is now the president here. But he's not going to make everything better for me if I don't make a choice in the decision to some extent. If I'm following what you're saying exactly. To say that
even just imagine that he can make you do the things that you don't want to do. Just imagine you elect someone. After voting, the results are announced. Automatically you have this expectation that my hunger, my challenges, I need to go to another 30 kilometers away, that somehow, because this creature has been elected and is a smart genius, that his smartness can convert my aspirations into something else, can give me legs to go where I couldn't go. Just that idea is the one this show must exorcise. We must take the demon out of people so that they can begin to focus on reality.
Yes.
That no man, however gifted, is gifted enough to substitute you. So you are sovereign.
True.
Not because somebody else makes you sovereign. So if Tinashe became, there's nothing disqualifying Tinashe from being a president. But other people say no.
He's short.
No, even just looks at him and says, imagine Tinashe at a press conference and say, I think Zimbabwe needs something different, something unique, something they've never tried before. And I'm just an uneducated person, because I've seen all the educated people for 37 years. They failed to produce smart outcomes. And the Deputy Prime Minister was part of the country that was going nowhere quickly. So if he was part of it, and he served under this train or bus going somewhere, then you pick up in the bus and say, oh, although you're not a driver, you are a smart genius, and you're part of this problem. If people say the problem in Zimbabwe is leadership, and there's 1% poison in that glass of water, can you take the poison and say this one is smarter?
No, the water is poisoned.
So, hey, if I'm to ask a question, I'm a musician who's looking for a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Right. And let me not.
Let's say you are a human being.
Human being.
Yeah.
Right. Let me say,
who is gifted in music?
In music.
Otherwise, you end up and say the future president must be a musician.
A musician. Okay, right. This is okay. Let's make it more practical.
Yeah.
Let's make it more practical.
Okay.
We have a situation here.
Yeah.
I know a few days we were talking about poverty.
Yeah.
And rich. Is there an address?
Yeah.
To say this is where we'll find
That's right.
the destination and the address of poverty.
Yeah.
But let's say a situation
Yeah.
that is there that you can't get what you need.
Yeah.
Right. You can't access everything that you need for your life to be better.
Yeah.
So then where how do we deal with that problem? Because, from what you're saying sometimes people, we now take it back to the leaders and say the government is responsible for everything, this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
So whose fault is it?
But I think you did a song.
Yes.
Which was telling. It needs to be retold over and over again. Even the chorus needs to be sung over and over again. Because as you were saying correctly, I searched all over to find a smart Zimbabwe who could convert my hunger into something.
Yes.
And I couldn't find nobody. I couldn't find. Then I searched all over to find this man or woman called poverty.
Yes.
And I went to all the definitions. Still could not make sense. Then I searched all over to find the address.
Yes.
Where this issue is contested. What is poverty? But if you look at another way, you are a musician or a human being who wears a mask called musician.
Yes.
When you talk to your friends and say, when is the song, I've been asked to produce a song that talks about this elephant in the room called poverty. Can you give me some words to put into this song? Where would we start? Would we start by searching for the understanding? Would we start by searching for wisdom? Who do I go to? I go to the educated people. They tell me, my friend, you are poor because you are not educated. Then I go to the poor. And they say, I'm poor because of the people who are rich. I go back to somebody and say, are you poor because you are lazy? Says, if I can get a job, I am not poor. It's not that I don't want to work, but give me an address where I can go to and start offering my services. I couldn't find an address where I can go to. Then you search all over. You see people who are living in the mountains. You say, well, how did they get up there? Nobody tells you. You look down in the valley. Hopelessness, people say, I can't do it. I've given up on life. Because I think it was just meant to be what it is. Then you're saying, this month of Mandela, what is it that I can do as a musician?
Yes.
After listening to this and after talking to other people in the 1873 network. So this is the song that we are waiting for. You have been working with her. Today you are disabled.
I'm not disabled.
You're challenged because the other three are not here.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
I'm now leaving the talk.
Okay.
From what you've been taking us through all this while, it doesn't mean that if you're alone, you can't make a difference.
Yeah.
Even alone, you can make a difference. And then everyone will catch up with you along the way.
So you're a soldier.
So I'm a soldier on my own, like that. So, but just in general, what I love where this thing is headed.
Yeah.
Because it looks like we are touching on. I hope we're not losing our viewers on what we are trying to put across.
Yeah.
Because there are three situations here. The three situations. The first thing that I'm getting from this thing is to understand who you are.
That's right.
When you understand who you are, the problem of race, equality, or status,
Very
whether
even
rich
not
or
who
poor,
you are. It's understanding the design of life.
yes. Okay.
Yeah. Because someone caused life to exist. And that somebody is not me. I'm a beneficiary of it.
Yes.
So when we say the power of grace, it means that I have not merited this benefit of life. Because if I were to apply for it, they will ask me for a feasibility study to say, if I give you life for 30 years or for 50 years,
Yes.
what are you going to do with this gift of life? And many of us have nothing to show for it. Yet, we are a beneficiary of life. So when I go back to the designer of life, the creator of life, I want to go into the mind of that creator.
Yes.
What could have been the creator's mind to make us different? To create life so that it becomes painful? To make other people's eyes better than ours? Other people's ears better than ours? So these are the kind of questions that come up.
Yes.
But most people say, I found my purpose. How do you find a purpose when the design of life does not give you a choice? Otherwise, all of us would choose to be where we are not. We would be looking for the PIN number to get where we need to go. It would be that simple. That you created life, created the means for living it, now connect me. I go to a pastor and say, connect me. Yeah. I've seen no prophet, no pastor, no man of God, no man of Allah. I've seen none, whatever religion you use, who has been able to create fish and give you fish and you eat it. So if that has not happened, so please don't believe that another man has been gifted with more than what you have. It may be different, but it's not superior.
I can get a concept from maybe. I hope I will be in the same line.
Yeah.
You know, a biblical concept.
Okay.
Of the parable of people who were given gifts.
Yeah.
There were people who were given gifts, and with those gifts that they were given, one thing that was common about them, about these people, or that was the same, is they were all given gifts.
Yeah.
If they would raise up hands to say, how many have been given gifts? They were all given gifts at the end of the day. But then others decided to use them and move forward and earn more.
Yeah.
And others decided to what? To bury. To go and bury that gift. Or that gift, actually that gift that was given to them.
Yeah.
What are we saying? What we are saying is, from what you're saying also, is we all have been made equal, which is the common thing.
That's right.
That is there. So the outcome, how I am going to, where I'm going to be in life,
is dependent on the actions that you...
on the actions
on the
that
choices
is
and actions.
and the choices and actions that I make.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, these are free. This is a free will that has been given to everyone to be in a position or a place that they want to be, based on them taking the step forward.
Yeah.
So what are we saying? What we are saying at the end of the day is this thing of being a citizen, belonging to a certain country or place, it naturally, automatically, it connects you to everything that is there. You become connected to it. If I'm a Zimbabwean or I'm a Nigerian or South African, everything that is in South Africa is at my disposal. equally with the rich or the poor or the blind or whatever state, whichever person will be in that country. So it means that, to me now, as someone who's following this conversation where it's going, it means that no one should come to me and impose an idea and force me to go with that idea. I have to make a decision freely without being pushed towards a certain idea. If there's something that I don't like, I have to make a step.
That's right.
What it also brings, what you just said, I was just thinking about even the conversation we had earlier in the morning on the Continental Sunrise Breakfast Show, where one individual, she's also tuned in, Sema, was stating that she's in Zimbabwe and she's in Namibia. What you just highlighted got me thinking. Imagine yourself, you in a house here in South Africa. It might not be where you were born, but you're right there at that very moment.
Yes.
After using your toilet, should you leave it dirty just because that's not where you belong? But you're staying there, you need to clean it up. Just the way you would what? Do the same thing in a home in Zimbabwe. So wherever you are at that very moment, you need to ensure that you do what you have to do to ensure your life is better as you move forward. Despite being born in Zimbabwe, living in South Africa, do not disregard what is there at that very moment, because it is for your own benefit, for you to advance yourself as an individual. So you have to take up that responsibility. You have to take up that element of doing your best to contribute towards the betterment of that society.
So I have a question, Mr. Mawe.
Okay.
You know, you're a man full of wisdom. I love the ideas that you bring, and it really opens my mind up. But I want to be a little bit practical.
Okay.
Just once. I'm going to ask you a very straightforward question. We have a song that we're working on. The so-called poor and the so-called rich. Let's work with that element. We have the so-called poor in our countries. What message can we send to the so-called poor first? Let's address the so-called poor first. We're saying, you know what, my situation is like this because someone is not taking care of what needs to be done.
If we look at the design of life,
yes,
and how we experience life, and then you look at what really poverty is and poverty is not, then you find that most of the people we believe are poor is because we left them at another station.
Yes.
And we think for them and act for them sometimes. Not necessarily act for them, but think for them. But there is, you find somebody today is poor, tomorrow, without your knowledge, they've lifted themselves out of the condition that you left them in. How would you know?
So the key factor from what you're saying, we're saying poverty is not a condition, not or even a disease, something that can be.
I can't say that you are suffering from cancer, then automatically cancer is what gone off because of prayer or because of some other gymnastics. So I will still find, I can't find you there. But what happens in life is actually, and we can see, I think what happens in our lives is just simple. That poverty does not have that tag where you say I'm HIV positive or I've got cancer, and then I leave you there and I see that it's a terminal disease. There's nothing terminal about poverty. A lot of people want to talk about it. I think a lot of human beings who are politicians, they love poverty because it's a good ticket to get into office.
So okay, so on that, Tinashe, you gave us another definition last time about what poverty is, and you were saying, talking about the issue of insufficiency insufficient
Yeah.
in having
Yeah.
whatever material equipment. I don't know what it is. So from what you're saying, what you're simply saying in a few words is to say that this thing that we call poverty, it's not something that we should praise a lot and say, you know what, they are the poor, they are the rich, they are what. But what we need to do is to educate people and equip them to know that everything that you want to become, you can become if you take
the steps. Yeah. So some people say, "Let me. I will move you away from poverty. I will lift you out of poverty." Then you say, "Hang on, slow down. Where did this idea come from? That government is there to solve poverty?" Because many people were saying, "We eradicate poverty. Elect me. I'm a genius. I've been certified at the best schools." They say, "But have you cured your own poverty before you cure the poverty of others?" Says, "No, but I want to use these people as fodder so that I can get where I want." And that's what you call a best politician.
So we need to write songs, Tinashe. What we're going to do is we're going to write a song towards addressing, because at the end of the day, we're fighting, we're dealing with the wrong, we're fighting the wrong, what do you call it? The wrong, okay, let me put it as a person. You're fighting the wrong person. And you're forgetting the cause of this thing that we're calling poverty is probably ignorance, I don't know, to not understanding or lack of wisdom.
We don't have a shared understanding. That's what we're saying. Through song.
Yes.
Let's share different texts on this issue, because it is an issue.
Yeah, it is.
We can't say poverty doesn't exist.
Hey, because I can...
I mean, we can't say the poor are invisible.
Yeah.
No, it would be wrong. But we say, let's contest the ideas around it.
And see how we can...
Let's find what best describes this human being.
There was a guy who was telling me that you can take... you can split 10 billion. Okay, a millionaire, Tinashe, you're a billionaire, you have 10 billion, and then we split it over to everyone. We give 1 million to people. By the end of the year, the 10 billion will come back to you.
Yeah.
How is that possible? It's possible because you were not only given that money, but you have worked towards getting there. What am I saying? We are also sending another message out there to people to say that if something is not a condition, you're capable of also being at a place where you want to be. I don't know if I'm getting you right. So as a young man also who's into music, who's doing music as a career as well, I also have enough time that was given to Tinashe and you to maximize and nurture whatever I want to do.
Yeah, I think on that
before we cross over to a song or to get to listen to music, we're just going to go through some of the comments as well as remarks from individuals out there. So Marvin Mausers Tendai says, spot on Dr. Muchuma. Bule Murungani says, correct. Then Erodosio, meaning a bank of knowledge, can spend the whole day listening to this kind of discussion. Sema Mulangeni, she asks, why not look at the causes, the ignorant attitude of not voting or caring about votes and their effects? So far, these are the comments that we had.
I think, Sema has got, I think, a valid point, because we can look at everything, but we are not everything. We only have 24 hours in a day, and our time is limited. We can only shed light. If all of us did even just 1 hour of this service to humanity, just sharing, either in song, voice, because you don't know who is watching, you don't know who is listening. We are full of nonsense in our midst. We are full of ignorance in our midst. And sometimes we don't know what really is important, what matters. So even the songs that we listen to, imagine you go to a wedding and you listen to a new song that speaks of something that other people are not speaking about. When you say voting, what does it mean to vote? Yeah. On election day, some people think it's a holiday. And actually shy away, take credit. They go to a pub and say, I will never vote. They don't know that their power lies in them. Has no legs except their legs. They have to present themselves at the polling station. Not vote against something. How many of us are experts at being against everything, but not be for something? Imagine we are talking about inequality, we are talking about poverty, unemployment. We don't talk about employment. We don't talk about equality. We don't talk about wealth. We talk about the negatives. Wouldn't you want to see somebody say, I want to be in government? Just to be a spectator and a cheerleader, a vuvuzela of everybody else who is creating wealth in their interest. And I don't want to be the roadblock. I don't want to know it all. I don't want to command anything. I don't even want to have knowledge. All I can say is, keep it up. Well done. Just keep on doing what you are doing. But how many of us will say, because I'm elected, I have superior wisdom coming from election? How cheap is that? And the person says, yeah, after a speech, did you hear me? What were you saying? After what you say, what you are saying, I'm still hungry. So how many of us have become experts at talking about things we can't do anything about? And the people who can do something about the citizens are the ones who are bamboozled with new words. Where did they come from? Why are you inventing words? When
we have not understood some of the words that we already have.
So this is the tragedy of mankind. It's not an African problem. Because dictators are not African only. And people who are megalomaniacs are not African. People who think they alone have better answers or better claim to the future. It's not an African disease.
Okay, so there's a song that you wrote.
Yeah.
There's a song that you wrote.
Yeah.
I'm sure most viewers are not even aware. Are not even aware that you're also a writer.
No, in fact, right now, this is the song. In fact, we just, if you convert what we've been saying, tomorrow I'll convert it into a song. Not into a song, into just a continuation of verses.
Okay.
I think Jesus was not a singer.
Many people have used this word to sing.
Okay, now it's your job.
Yes.
I've done my part.
Yes.
Just to write.
There's a very powerful song that I don't know, let me not say song.
Yeah.
There's a message that you put across on paper.
Yeah.
And that happened to fall on our doorstep as musicians.
Yeah.
Then we're like, oh, okay. Let's try and sing 1776. Let's try and sing this, or probably send out the message to people in a different manner.
In fact, Fred we are delaying him.
Yeah.
So Fred, you can play the song, and that's the song.
I don't know.
I think we have that. Then Fred,
there's
in fact, Fred, if you have to go, you can disappear without.
Yeah. So Fred is going to play.
I think the right one.
No, the one that is the last one that you've just done. Because we're talking about 1770. This is Mandela, man.
Yes.
I think we're talking about the rights when we're all created equal. One of the values of the 1873 network. For people who don't know, please visit us on what?
Our website is www.the1873network.org. There you can sign up for membership and connect with other individuals. And once you sign up for membership, don't forget to pay your membership subscription. I'll be renewing my subscription end of this month as I'll be celebrating a year as a member of the 1873 network.
That's powerful. And also on the 1873 network website, there are values. And this is one of the songs that Fred, who doesn't want to be seen,
Yeah, so
but he's a great producer.
and basically because some of us we can't speak
Yeah.
and talk,
And that's
we
your
can-
voice on the...
we can convert this into music.
Perfect.
So Fred is going to. So be the judges and yeah.
Imagine being asked to put words to a declaration of independence of man. Where would I start? I would not have a choice but to start with understanding the true design of operation of life. Yeah. Jefferson D. in 1776 that the equality of man is neither a gift nor penalty. Oh man, free and independent, and accepting our rights of which they cannot deprive or diverse. Free and independent, and that's such an inherent rights of which they cannot deprive or diverse their posterity. Free and independent, free and independent. At the time, similar human experiment, we found it on that idea that enjoyment of life ought to be universal. The idea can be divisible into black and white, and that means of acquiring, possessing, property can be centric. The pursuing and obtaining happiness and prosperity could be prescribed on racial grounds. No. Prescribe on racial grounds. No. Man by nature, free and independent, and that's such an inheritance. Rights of which they cannot deprive or diverse their posterity. Equally free and independent, and that's such an inheritance. Rights of which they cannot deprive or diverse their free and independent, free and independent. Conscience of the above truth. Mandela United States is free. As you've only trying to do the way they follow me ways. During my lifetime, I have dedicated myself to this struggle of the Africa. I have fought against the white domination, and I fought against the black domination. I fought against the white domination,
viewers out there, please send us your votes.
Yes, we want your comments.
We want your comments.
What's your thoughts on this track that we've just listened? It's still work in progress. The final project will definitely come through. We will always be keeping you posted on Zimbabwe Today.
Fred, when is the final? The producer is hiding, and
At the end of today.
he has undertaken that by today, which means tomorrow, same time, you will have the final. And please tell somebody that I think the central message
Yes,
is Jefferson.
sure.
I think this morning we were talking about Mr.
Jefferson.
Jefferson, a man of great wisdom, great words, a thinker. And in our generation, we are looking for thinkers. Do you know where the address of thinkers is?
Where is it?
We need a song.
Where is it?
Searching for because I searched all over.
I couldn't find it. I
couldn't find. But I saw people with PhDs.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find thinking. The address of thinking does not reside in the mind of papers. There are many people who think they are learned, but know nothing about the things that they didn't learn. It doesn't mean that they don't know, but they know very little, and they think that's the universe. And they forget that there's a bigger world out there that is being discovered every second of unconsumed time.
You know, thank you so much. Personally, as a musician, I was okay. As a person who's doing music, I was a bit skeptical. I'll be honest with you. I was a bit skeptical and say, okay, you know, I don't want to hear anything that has to do with government. And then I feel like I'm now doing politics.
Yeah.
And I feel like, but you know what? At the end of the day, you know, I understand that we are, you know, somehow you're going to be associated with politics anyway.
I'm telling you, you are a politics because you create these animals.
And
where are they created? Where is the factory?
so at the end of the day, I understand today what I've learned today is to say that I belong to a society.
Yeah.
If I belong to a society and I'm a citizen, because I've never voted before, I used to say, you know what, people will just vote. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm the same person who's going to be complaining tomorrow.
That's right.
I'm going to say, hey, why is it our country is like this? Why is it things are like this?
Be
Why is it
vigilant
like this? You see.
and
So,
be active.
so I've learned today. Thank you so much. I've learned today that I'm responsible for the change that I want to
In
see.
fact, the character of a government and its personality
Yes.
is whose personality? Not the president. He's just one solitary being.
Okay.
The government reflects all of us. Our failings, our triumphs, setbacks.
Okay.
Yeah. This spirit, the human spirit, is embodied in what we call government. It is and should always be a people's project. The moment it becomes a sacred project, then it's a wrong project. Imagine somebody says, I fought for you, therefore I must eat on your behalf. That's my claim to fame. I was born just human, but in life, because I made certain choices, therefore I have the right to tell you how you should live your life. Would you wake up the next day energized to do what you have to do? Or you said, let me sort out this character who is telling me this nonsense?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's quite. It's very profound. I've learned today. I've learned that I just have to grow myself and realize the privilege that I was given. That I'm equal. We are all the same.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we are all under one roof. How we speak to each other, how we relate to each other, shouldn't be something based on color. Shouldn't be something that is based on status, that I have more money. Shouldn't be something that is based on, I think my intellect is better than you. So from today now, I feel more of a
In fact, they say
being.
one man,
Yeah,
one vote.
Yes.
They don't say one thinker, 3 votes. So that is instructive. That whoever you are, however powerful you think you are, however enlightened you think you are just one individual. So on that score, you want to give us your rendition for this one individual, this poor man we are looking for.
Yes. Fred, is he there? About the poverty song that we're working on.
So it's still work in progress, and this is the final. I can see Fred is not too happy.
We've captured him.
He has been captured. So viewers out there, thank Fred. If you have a message, keep on encouraging Fred. He's going to be praying for us.
And the search all over.
Yeah, search all over.
I love the words that if I would sing it a cappella, it goes like when he's looking for it. It says, you know and I know that poverty is neither a condition, status or disease. What it is meant to be, it's not what really exists. Imagine a world without the so-called poor. Fred, are you ready? All right, let's hear it.
Yeah.
So disease. What it is meant to be is not what really exists. Imagine a world without the so-called poor. Would the rich be better for it? Searched all over for an address. understand and cure poverty. Yeah. We can deliver this promise if we choose to listen to the whispers of tomorrow and not the ghost of yesterday. Imagine a world without the so-called poor. Would the rich be better for although I could not find the address, I know deep in my veins that there's a better world exists, in which the promise of equality can be realized. Imagine a world without the so-called rich. Would the poor be better for it? Oh no. We have power in our hands, the youth and the old. We all have a duty, one individual at a time. We have power in our hands, the youth and the old. We all have a duty, one individual at a time, to secure the border we desire. 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 To secure the border we desire.
That's no comments.
These are just your words translated into song.
Into song. That's the power of song.
Yes.
So I think, do we have anyone who has said anything that we need to close with?
No.
Mm.
Except for, I think, Tinotenda Mabasa Chadoka,
Mm.
who stated that is following.
Mm.
Okay, we did have a comment. Bule says, powerful song. Is that your song?
Mm.
Yes. Yes. And Marvin Tendai was just affirming against everything and not for something. Pakaipa. Meaning that we want to something.
Okay.
So these are the comments that we got from today. Viewers out there, thank you for making the 1873 TV your channel of choice, your vision, your power, your vision on issues that matter, your power to inspire new thinking, new outcomes, and new possibilities. Mr. Mawere, Oscar, thank you for joining us this afternoon on the Africa I Want, in Africa where people are better informed about the issues that challenge us on a daily basis.
Thank you.
Thank you so
And
much.
goodbye for now. Be sure to join us again, same time tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, you still have to close us. Perfect. Huh? 1.5. 1.6. So it's
So at least if they were hearing the song
I know.
better.
Oh, even people were watching, a lot of people were watching actually.
yeah?
Saying a lot of people were watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think people are, I'm also sharing
It's almost 43. So just do daily and then we finish.
Everything we do, we just do. We end up drawing a serious.
Because if you have 1.6 and you add them up, 1 week you end up with 5,000.
No, people will eventually get used to. Eventually.
Because at least they now know the songs. So we.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm waiting for the other one. When should I expect it?
Which one?
The next one.
Yeah, so we do.
Fred is loving it.
Fred, you kill Fred. Fred is saying, I still have not produced the song.
No.
So we need to bring a Tendai.
Fred will just leave him with